Hey guys, how's it going? So this is going to be a video about using cheap dinosaur toys to make, cheap dinosaur and monster miniatures. So as you can see here, this is a pretty cheap looking pterodactyl. But if you actually look, there's some nice texture there. And with some dry brushing, some washes, this guy I think is pretty good. If a bit goofy with the pose. So you see originally, right? This is the other one. This was the original. Yeah, all I really did was sculpt some new eyelids to make him look that little bit more menacing. So you'll see his eyes are pretty wide open there. This guy just looks a little bit more evil. I don't know why his little eyes. And I could have went and did teeth and everything, but I think he's goofy enough. And I went for bright kind of bluey turquoise as well, and a pretty desaturated base with some tufts, some sand, and bits and bobs. Looks realistic enough. Maybe makes him look a little bit more realistic. But yeah, as a quick monster, I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, so there's other examples here, guys, that I basically got these tub of dinosaurs for my birthday. Look, I'm 32. That's totally fine. My little boy, I had bought him the tub the day, like a few days beforehand. I said, "Damn, I should have got another one for myself." But of course, one of my friends had bought me one for my birthday. So that's my life. That's how it goes. So it's basically this is the farm animal version of it. But I think this was a tenner, and it's full of kind of crappy enough figures, like of cows and that. But the dinosaur one is pretty good. Do you know what I mean? If you're looking for a T Rex, boom, there you go. That's a tenner and it's full of stuff. Now it's got all these crappy trees and rocks and everything in it, so maybe they're kind of useless. You throw them out, but maybe I'll find a use for them eventually. But basically, I kind of got a lot of ideas from it. So you see, this dino to me, this T Rex looks very kind of 90s smiling, kind of crazy T Rex. I don't know why it's a smile, maybe in the angle of his head. And he's about 28 mil ish scale. Do you know what I mean? Okay, there's now Granny from Reaper Bones, but it's not a million miles away from it. So I went ahead and made him a bit more rad. So he's got the mohawk changes, gave him better expression. He's very badass looking. Some nostrils, kind of gave him a chin job there, so he's a little bit less pointy at the chin. And then tanked him out, gave him some good shoulders, some decent arms. These are from the Katachan Jungle Fighters. Those classic, that kit that I think is still in production for GW. Um, so that bit's, I've had loads of those lying around for ages. Rambo looking chest, decent pecs on him, and then customize this las gun to make it look a little bit, hopefully less like a las gun. And gave him his arms, so he's got two kind of claw arms. So he's got these little T Rex arms. Are not little weedy T Rex arms anymore. He's pretty jacked. So I'm thinking I need to add more to him, as in like ammo or armor or something like that. I don't want to cover up his chest or anything though, so I have to come up with something. Just because I'm at to kind of spray him up and paint him in some kind of radical kind of, either red with green mohawk or green with red mohawk or something. Do you know what I mean? Those really 90s kind of saturated, rad looking dinosaurs, But that was my basic, the first thing I thought of, and I was like, oh man, if I was playing Stargrave, my my crew would be space dinosaurs basically, and so I'd have the medic here, something like this. If you can imagine, he's got his little gear, and he's gonna have maybe a backpack, give him some better arms, a little pistol, maybe some goggles or some kind of comm link or something like this. As you can imagine, decent scale. You can put them on 25 mil bases. The you're dealing with this kind of not the best material when it comes to the base material. Is very rubbery and that, but look, it takes super glue. You can pin it pretty handy. Green stuff sticks to it fine. You can super glue these little bits of Foamex onto it and then build the pouches around it. He's going to be basically the medic if he's ever finished, but just as a proof of concept, that's what he is. And he can do pretty quick things like this. These little kind of raptor guys, work in progress. Little bead there on the eye to make him look a bit more cyborg. Cut his arms off and sculpt him some new little arms with this little kind of SMG looking, I don't know, what would you call it, Uzi thingy bob. So he could be a little kind of hacker, or in maybe someone can tell me in Frostgrave, not Frostgrave, sorry, I might say Frostgrave earlier, I meant Stargrave. What they'd be like runners, or kind of like the thieves basically. So they're very quick. So you can imagine. Now, obviously, you're dealing with the sculpts aren't the best in the world, but if you painted these up, they'd actually be fine. So there's the original, Just kind of chopped his arms. I think it's turned his head slightly, and you do a few different things with them. Now this is just one set. You know yourself. There's all these little sets of these really cheap dinosaurs around. So if you're looking for something different for a Stargrave, that's the one. Stargrave crew. You could convert some of these up into some rad dinosaurs. So that's those. Not that I'm probably ever going to play the game, but you know yourself. Another option, like sometimes you get doubles. I think you get two of this guy in the set. So what you can obviously do is, slice this guy's head off, put it on this guy, and then sculpt some fur around it, and then you've got a different. You maybe give him bigger claws, and he's a different breed of pterodactyl looking fella, and he's more dangerous. He's got bigger claws, obviously. Then these guys at the end, some of my, I don't know. These guys look really cool. I don't know. It's the mix of, that Turnip 28 kind of idea, this kind of medieval and kind of Napoleon, really kind of using the historical miniatures and griming them up and kind of using them in different scenarios. I know that's not the basis of the Turnip 28 kind of movement. We'll say Instagram, you can check out the hashtag Turnip28mil or Turnip28. You'll see all these turnip inspired, root vegetable inspired, weird kind of creatures, as well as using a lot of like grim dark style of painting and texturing and using tufts and stuff like this on Napoleon and on knight miniatures and mixing them together, right? It's really interesting, it's really cool. But using that kind of idea of using the not fantasy, sorry, the medieval style of miniatures and putting them into different scenarios. I don't know. I like this idea. So this is where this is coming from. These dinosaurs are going to have knights on them, basically. And so they're all the same sculpt, but they've been, altered slightly. I just kind of bent some of their arms, filled them in, or same thing again. I gave them these eyelids just because I think it makes them look a little bit more realistic, as well as, I don't know, cautious or something. Just kind of changing up their poses, and I can kind of put some of these knights on it. Honestly, what's been slowing me down is I've had to research the best way to make harness, like what makes the most sense for a harness or a saddle. And one of the guys on my Instagram actually had mentioned to me Ark, the video game with where you ride like dinosaurs and stuff. I think you can ride even dragons and stuff at this stage. I've never actually played it, but it's a great inspiration for how it might be realistic to put a harness or a saddle on one of these guys. So that's what will be done with these guys, and kind of match them together. That's the idea. So that'll be for them. For, like I said before, it's for no real in particular, no game in particular, just for the fun of making it, as well as, look, this guy, I'm probably not going to play Stargrave, but he's going to be an awesome Tug T-Rex, radical Tug T-Rex from space, and hacker raptor. Like, that's pretty sweet. But that's it, guys. Check out these cheaper kind of sets. Yeah, if you are looking for even these farm animals, like this was a tenner. I think it was. I think on sale. My wife actually got it for a $5 for my birthday, which I know, or for my boy, which is great. So I think I robbed a few of them, but it's not terrible stuff to be working with. And as a base for conversions or toy bashers, I think they're being popularly called now. They're not bad. They're not bad. Anyway, look, let me know what you think. I will hopefully finish some of these eventually, yourself. And yeah, let me know what you think. Good luck. Cheers.